A lot's happened since the last update. I sold the LX, I sold the AE82. I don't know if I had sold it in the last video or not. I sold a Scion XB. I sold the supercharged car. I've washed the Starlet for the first time in a long time, 3 years I think. So that's cool. It's also not on jack stands anymore. I do need to continue some interior work, and then once I get all that taken care of, I'll tow it to the shop, get the suspension dialed in, brakes bled, and I've still got some work to do under the floor on that car. So that's moving smoothly. My wife's been begging me for an MR-2 spyder. Sorry for the creaky chair. So I bought one. You know, it was selfish of me to say no all these years because I personally don't care for them. So went ahead and pulled the trigger on this guy, and she loves it. So what she does not love is the headlights. And if you've ever seen one or you own one, you know that those headlights are expensive to replace, and then they do get very yellow. So I reached out to a friend of mine in Hawaii who does mobile mechanic work, and she does headlight restores on a bunch of cars over there, and I asked her which one she thought would work the best, and she recommended this one. And this one cracks me up because it's got like a 7th gen Camry or a 6th gen Camry headlight on it, which is so funny because I cannot tell you how many of those I've restored over the years. I've got a video that I posted like 10 years ago of the Toyota kit that's no longer available, which really sucks because that kit was on point. Like, that was such a good kit. The problem was a bunch of people don't know how to do it because it was a spray-on clear, and people were getting orange peel and runs, and customers were unhappy, and it was just a whole big mess. And now they've got this stupid kind of, it's like in a pump spray bottle, and you like wet sand the headlight and put it on there, and it's awful. It doesn't even work well, in my opinion. So I don't even bother with it. So I asked her, you know, you do a lot of aftermarket stuff, what do you recommend? She recommends this one. And here's what's in the kit. So you get the oxidation remover, which seems pointless to me, but we'll find out. You get a pair of gloves. Well, you get more than that. I think there's more gloves in this. You get this little sanding contraption with a couple different grits of sandpaper. And then you've got the wipe-on clear coat, which I'm pretty excited about because I'm tired of all the spray crap and the runs and all of that. And then you get the little instruction thing. One thing I want to note is that it says to do it in the shade, and that you'll need a spray bottle with water in it and a bunch of towels. Because if you get any of the oxidation remover on the paint, it says to remove it immediately. So I'm going to be giving you updates step by step. We're going to see the transformation from before and after, and we'll see if this is worth it. For 16 bucks, I'd say it's worth it just to try, because even if we mess them up, they got to get replaced anyway. So 16 bucks isn't a make me or break me type thing. So let's do step 1, and then we'll do, I guess, step 2, which is so redundant. Like, why do we need oxidation remover if we're just going to sand it off anyway? You know what I mean? It kind of just, it doesn't make sense in my brain. But whatever, I'm just going to do what they tell me to do, because I'm not an engineer and I don't know better than them. So let's do it. All right, first step is done. I recommend you have an entire box of gloves on hand, because the one pair they give you ain't enough. especially if they want you to keep changing packs of oxidation remover, then drying off the bumper and the fenders if you get remover on it, and then you got to pick up the spray bottle and rinse it and dry it. But it says that your headlamp should look hazy or cloudy, which it does. So we're going to move on to the next step of wet sanding it. And then we'll see what that looks like. Here we are after the first round of wet sanding. They give you 2 sanding discs. You get a 2000 and a 3000. And if you have nice paint on your car, I would recommend, taping it up around the fenders and the bumper so you're not sanding the paint. Not that 2000 or 3000 is really going to be an issue. But before I go on to the next stage, the instructions say to do it for like 2 to 3 minutes per headlight, which is BS. Do it until you're happy. You've already started it. What's the hurry? But this is after your first step of wet sanding. And of course you can see how hazy it is, which is great. This is what you want. But if you notice right here, you've got like a shiny spot. If you were to leave that and then clear over it, you're gonna see that spot through the clear coat. So before you move on to the next step, you wanna wet sand that some more till the entire headlamp is a uniform haze and it's all the same color. You might go through and wet sand it, and you, like on this one, for instance, if you have an MR-2, there's like this is kind of like I don't want to say a 90 degree, but there's a pretty big bend in the lamp here. I had a yellow strip right through here. And you could see that after you dried it. So go back, wet sand it till that yellow strip is gone and the headlamp is all uniformly one color. Also, be sure to take it off the applicator tool and hit the edges before you move on to the next step. So I'm gonna hit this and then I'm gonna move on to the 3000 grit. So we've made it past the 3000 grit step. And it is a nice uniform haze, which is exactly what we want. When you're doing this, a good indicator that you're pretty close to the end or already finished is when you're wet sanding it, you'll notice there's a froth that builds up on the headlight. Initially, it's going to be yellow, but as you continue to do it, it's going to turn white. And whenever your froth is nice and white and has like no other colors in it, you're pretty much done. So don't put a time limit on it. Just go until it's done. Don't be in any rush, because that's ultimately what's going to give you the best results. Now, I'm going to add a step between step 2 and step 3. It says to dry your headlamp, and then we're going to do the clear coat. But if any of you have ever done any sort of painting, bodywork, just any painting at all really, is you want to have a nice clean surface for, whatever it is you're applying to stick to. So I'm going to clean the lens now with some alcohol, and then I'm going to let that fully dry before I apply my clear. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. All right, the clear coat is finished. Is it great? No. Is it better than it was? Yes. It is still quite hazy, but you could at least see into the headlamp now. So I'm wondering if I could have done a better job just using the polisher and polishing compound like I used to do. But it's fun to try new stuff. Went ahead and gave the the Cerakote kit a try. And it could have just been that these headlights were just far too gone. Maybe if they're just starting out to haze, it might work better. I'm probably gonna try the rest of this kit on my Matrix and see what happens. Maybe I'll have better results. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But anywho, there you have it. Slightly less hazed headlights on an MR-2. This can be done on any car with a plastic headlight lens. So, up to you if you want to give it a go, or you could just spend the $500 and buy new headlights. Your call. But that's going to wrap this up.